Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking with a Dad. This evening we have a few topics. Very Steve-centered topics this evening. Is it going to be hitting on our nerd side of our viewership?
Supposed to mean?
Listen, I don't follow superheroes or like
the superheroes. You do follow economics and you do follow the trades pretty closely.
Right. But this is superhero. This is nerddom based topics. So Steve, please take it away.
So with that said, with the perfect segue, let's talk about Bernie Sanders. Well, actually, we can talk about Bernie really quick because that's going to be
a quick one. That's a quick one for sure.
So broke yesterday. I'm sure you've all seen it through various different outlets. Bernie Sanders has fully conceded and endorsed Joe Biden as the Democratic Party candidate. And
Obama came out today and endorsed him too.
Obama also endorsed him, but just as I predicted, so his base, Bernie that is, has not yet fully turned on him, but the rumblings are starting. The far left media outlets have already started the hill leading the way, saying that we will not kowtow. No one tells us what to do, not even Bernie. But in a very polite way.
Bernie, fuck you, Bernie, fuck you.
And they're all malnourished, like
yeah.
So there was that. I was going to link you to one interesting interview in the Hill where they were asking the lead reporter how she felt about the whole thing. And she was able to keep it all together while she's describing the issue. But at the same time, like I said, man, you got Democrats and you got progressives, right? And that's just the way it is. And now the Progressive Party feels even more alienated by this maneuver by Bernie, because I'll say some of the more fringe members of their groups are like, hey, it almost feels as if the past two campaigns counted for nothing. Because you learn a valuable lesson about politics, right? Which is politics is always politics.
Correct.
And all altruistic belief systems always will be that outside of the realm of politics until you have someone who's really completely willing to throw it all in the face of the wind. So they're a little butthurt about that. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You're not going to do anything. You're going to, all the Democrats, I think, at this point did the right thing. They endorsed their own candidate instead of going outside of party lines and speaking out against them. If you truly want to beat the other side, you all have to be together. So right. I think that's what the Democrats have done thus far, and I think that's what they need to do to get back in the top seat. But really, that's it. Bernie's out. That we kind of already mentioned that, and he finally endorsed senile Joe Biden.
And now Joe Rogan is on a tear.
Good old Rogan.
I'm going to say this about the two-party system. This is what you get, right?
Yeah, this is it.
Go back and read what George Washington and some of his closest, this is all public record, what he had to say about a two-party system in America, and you'll see how far wrong we've gone. Not left or right, but we've gotten it completely wrong. But on to more important news.
Nerddom.
Zach, I want you to kick your girlfriend out. I want you to stop being an adult for a second because we're going to talk about trolls here. We were both right, which is seldomly, it doesn't happen. You can't have two right parties in this. But we both made predictions.
Who was more right? And that's what's important to me.
Me, but in my usual humble way, I'm trying not to set you off and
trigger you. You were more right? What happened? So hold on a second. Wait. This is actually this is actually really funny. You sent me this text message earlier, and it linked me the entire article. It sent me the entire article in text. Look at this. I'm still scrolling.
Oh, no.
Wait. And it even has a spot. Hold on. Has a spot right here for me to sign up for newsletters. This is a text message, by the way.
Sometimes my text does that.
It sent me the entire article, so I'm like, I don't have the.
You know what that is? That's and someone from Samsung is going to contact me now, but I'm willing to bet this is it. The Note 3 had a feature where you could take a screenshot, and sometimes it would send a live link if that website participated in that portion of the program. And I thought that was a really cool feature.
That's really neat.
Every once in a while, that happens with this phone. There's probably a setting I can turn off to get rid of it, but I'm not going to.
It was just really funny. It's the first time it's ever happened to me, and because I see it because I don't get my text messages always 100% on time where I live with very little service. So I hit a spot like 10 text messages from Steve, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I'm looking, and it's like Trolls 2 link like MLA format essay, like I'm a professor. 3 more text messages.
What if you would have read that and it was like not what you thought it was? Like, oh, this is about tonight's show, but it's like, hey, Zach, man, in a real desperate way, this guy's really pushing my buttons. All right, I'm on my way to his house. You didn't text me back, bro. But anyway, so we had both touched on these points. We have been following this situation pretty closely. This kind of ties into the whole AMC situation, theaters being in a very economical crunch place. And I told you before that Trolls, the Universal, had broke, speaking of party lines, they decided to not wait for the theaters to reopen.
Sure.
And they actually said they're going to release Trolls 2, which the first one did extremely well. They're going to release it straight to video on demand, digital. And they did what you thought was a good idea. They did it for rent, but then they got a little ambitious with it. Instead of doing $8.99, they said, we're going for the full $19.99, and you can only watch it for 3 days. Zach, do you know how much money Trolls 2 made this weekend with that strategy?
I'm going to take a wild guess here. $87 million.
91 million.
Holy shit.
91 million.
It seems like I was very right on this, and that it would make money. You would make just the same amount of money you would if it went to theaters if you did the renting. I even called how long you should rent it for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I'm not saying they're listening to our show, but Disney, we expect some money. Or is this Disney or is this?
It's Universal.
Universal. Well, you don't have any money to give us. You can keep your money, Universal.
But here's a crazy thing. I had a stat for you here.
Stevie has some stats. This is what I like to hear.
So apart from the weekend dominance, this is a direct quote from the article that I'm reading from Trolls. Also set several records of note. This included the most pre-ordered title ever. Best-selling opening day. Best-selling film over the first 3 days of digital release. I'm sorry, 90 million plus.
That's
DreamWorks
crazy.
Animation, yes.
That's crazy. DreamWorks always does some good stuff, though. I heard the first Trolls was actually pretty good. Obviously, I didn't see it. Did you see it, Steve?
I've seen it like beginning, middle, and like the credits. I've not seen the end, so I don't know how the whole thing runs.
No. So did you partake in the digital frenzy that was Trolls 2? You didn't.
No,
none of the kids are interested.
No, they are. They probably are. Here's the thing: we did that with Onward, which was a movie, obviously Disney
huge, right?
Didn't stay in the theaters. Did really well on digital, and but we rented it. And then the other day, I was on Disney Plus, and guess what's up for free on Disney Plus?
Oh, I could have told you that.
After I bought it, so I was like, "That's it." Yeah, I did what dads do. I freaked out. I made a bunch of claims.
You start cleaning the cabinets.
The screw's been like this for years.
He's WD-40. It goes in easier.
But so that's what you were right about, right?
Money.
Very interesting.
I was right about the important part.
Here's what I think time will tell if I'm right. So this sets the precedent, right? We talked about this. What happens? AMC is going to be filing for bankruptcy here.
Sure.
It's already public knowledge.
That's already public knowledge.
They've already announced that they won't be able to pay their rent, and they're not going to. If anyone was asking, they're like, they won't pay their rent until this pandemic. So that's across all their locations. There's some chatter about Amazon possibly buying them out. Obviously, AMC is not the only game in town, but I would have to look into see how Regal, ArcLight, all these other places are doing. But I assume they're probably in a very similar place. So what happens next? Now that Universal's broke the line, do we see other people finally break the line?
Yes.
Disney had already committed to say Black Widow's coming out in the theaters when they reopen, a few other properties.
I think we talked about that. I think that's a ploy to get out of the contract.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And not even knowing anything really about the situation, but I just know how these contracts potentially could work. So yeah, I think you see a lot more people. You see Trolls do it, and some company like there's only 3 fucking movie companies. Let's be fair, right? But I was gonna say Fast and Furious, but that's also Universal, I think.
Yep.
So I don't even know. You've seen maybe 3 of them out of the whole series. You should sit and watch the whole series because there are very distinct themes, right? First 3 or 4 are actual street racing, right? The middle section of them are like street racing mixed with action movie. And
when do they fight? Which one is the one where they fight Thanos?
Okay, that's number 9. That's coming out this year. So and then the third sector is them where they go full cheesy action movie and they start making fun of themselves essentially, right? But I was gonna say,
hold on for a second. I'm not gonna let that slide. Vin Diesel is absolutely not making fun of himself. He's watching these movies at home and he's enjoying them. He's like, this is great cinema. I just watched Hobbs and Shaw, by the way.
I have not yet committed to doing that monstrosity to myself.
But go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
What I was saying is you're going to see other major franchises that could potentially already be in post-production, continue post-production because you can do post from home, right?
Yeah.
And then push that to digital because now they don't have a timeline to hit. They could say, hey, this movie's coming out on the 29th. We all know it's not. Nothing's going to be open by then, right? The federal mandate is at least the 30th at this point.
Right.
Break that contract in some fashion and then move to digital. And I think that's going to be lucrative for a lot of people. And then you'll see a lot of people set their business up for this afterwards because I think movie theaters are going to be, unfortunately, I think I'm going to be wrong on this one. I don't think movie theaters are going to be around during the summer. I think they might make a return next year, but I don't think we're going to see movie theaters for the rest of this year because they're going to have to work out contract negotiations and for rent and all this other stuff and back pay and such. So there's that, but I think,
then there's also the people coming back, right? That's going to be the hugest thing. People,
no one's going to want to do anything for months after this. I feel there's going to be the occasional people they're going to be dumb, but I think there are going to be people very cautious after this. So I think you're going to see most of your big releases this year come out in digital, and I think they're going to sell just as well, and it's going to change that market forever.
Absolutely, no. I do think it's like, so we talked about it. We've been covering this pretty
extensively,
pretty close, like more closely than some of the bigger YouTube channels. We've been on this. I've been up researching, waiting for dings to come through, and they come through, and I'm like, bam, got it. Here's the next thing. I'm on it. Here's the next thing. I do agree with you 100% that we will see movie theaters become more of a novelty act. And actually, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, aside from people losing their jobs, I want to see people retain their jobs in almost every industry, all industries after this whole pandemic is over. But they are going to have to augment their business model for sure. It'd be interesting if Amazon actually does acquire AMC. It would be really interesting to see what their business plan for movie theaters would be.
Oh, man. I don't know what you do with that.
I don't know either.
Here's a good thing. If it does, people out there who have Amazon Prime are probably going to get cheaper tickets to movies, right?
Yes.
I have Amazon Prime. I also enjoy theaters. So if it works out that the AMC near us is going to have cheaper tickets because of Amazon Prime, I'm going to be very happy. But
that would be amazing.
Amazon has been rumored to buy a lot of things recently, and not exactly follow through. And I think Jeff Bezos is a good businessman. I don't think theaters make that much money. And I think that's why their margins are so high. And I think that's why they crumbled so fast when, you couldn't get butts in the seats for a month and a half or 2 months now. Right. Yeah. I think that, if AMC is bought by Amazon, it's not going to be a good investment for Amazon.
Here's the thing, right? So we would have to go full conspiracy theory with a tinge of fact and truth for my next statement. But if you would just go back and do some market research when MoviePass first came out, there were a lot of people saying someone invented MoviePass to cripple the theater industry. And it almost entirely succeeded at one point because people were just getting in for free.
How long ago was MoviePass? Because you speak of it fondly, and I literally don't remember it.
Oh, if you look it up, the first thing that's going to come up probably is the worst business plan ever. But I was using it in LA like 2017, 2018. I think I started my subscription in 2017.
It was released in 2000. It was founded in 2011.
Right.
Why don't I remember MoviePass?
It was huge in California. I mean, like, I absolutely saw Black Panther 7 times because of that. Like, I was like, I'm bored. I'm going to see a movie. Got MoviePass. It was like having a golden ticket. But I also saw The Quiet Place, which segues into our next
good movie.
I wanted to see the second one. Hopefully that'll make its way to digital. John Krasinski reportedly met with Marvel Studios for unknown projects. So we're going to talk about the power of fandom here really quickly. It does not take much for a rumor to get started and then for people to go, you know what? We don't want to see this be a rumor anymore. We want to see this become a reality. Okay. And I've never seen people want something more than John Krasinski and Emily Blunt for Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. From the Fantastic Four. This is not even this is not a franchise comic book I've ever really enjoyed as a kid. It had a great run with a great
terrible movies
that came out the first time. But there is a writer called Jonathan Hickman, and he is a great literary style writer for comic books. And he had a great run with the Fantastic Four, kind of revitalized their book. And but the fandom has always been people want to see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. So much so, Zach, that if you look up John Krasinski sometimes on YouTube, Mr. Fantastic will pop up instead. Associated.
I didn't know that. So yeah, I'm so far removed from this, but everyone likes John Krasinski because he was in The Office, because he was Jim from The Office. That's the reason.
Everyone likes John Krasinski because he is that guy in normal life that comes to your lame party and he makes it a little bit better. You having a cheese and wine party? He's going to get that thing cracking with some good jokes and make people feel comfortable.
He's going to bring the good Gouda.
He's that guy.
John Krasinski is universally loved at this point, I believe. Obviously from The Office, yes. From Quiet Place. He's in a movie, a TV series, a war TV series. Is it Jack Ryan?
Jack Ryan, yes.
And I hear that's pretty good.
Yes.
So you know, I think he picks his projects really well. So if he does do it, I hope the Fantastic Four movie is good, so it doesn't ruin that legacy. Is kind of where I was going. You know, so Fantastic Four is a hard movie because they've made what 3 or 4 of them.
3 in total. 2 originals,
right? Because it was the original, then the Silver Surfer, and then the reboot, right?
And
none of them have been good.
No, anyone who touched that movie, the original 2, by the way, they were lucky to survive with their career. Chris Evans went on. Chris Evans, yeah, went on to play Captain America in the new Captain America movie. And
was he the Flame Boy?
Yeah, he was Human Torch. You can't say Flame Boy. You can't say that. But at any rate, so you know what else is really good about it? Emily Blunt, right? Also a very good personality in movies. Very, you know, she's very relatable. I always know who
Emily Blunt is.
She was in The Quiet Place. That's his wife, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's his wife in the movie and his wife in real life. So they have a great on-screen chemistry. But he did meet with Marvel Studios for some unnamed projects. We don't know what they were for. He is a great director as well. So people were wondering if this is them finally hinting that he's coming into the MCU. Another fun fact, he was actually up for the role of Captain America originally.
I heard that.
Yeah, and he lost out to Chris Evans. So for a nerd, means a lot. It'll be nice. I like when fandom makes its way to this place, but I also like good placement of actors for characters, right? And if you look up Reed Richards and you look at John Krasinski, you throw some gray in there, he's the perfect type of guy to play this role in it. I think it'll be a good way to differentiate themselves from the original franchise and then the one that came out afterwards, which was equally as bad under Kevin Feige's watch. Now we just got to see who's going to be the director. There were some rumors that the director of Ant-Man and Wasp was going to be he was going to take the helm on that one. But of course, everything's in a real holding pattern now. With the
everything's in holding. Everything's in holding. Yeah. You can't work from home on a movie.
No, I mean we can.
Unless you're in
we can make a movie from home.
Are we?
I think we just did it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Talking with a Dad movie coming out. Make sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest. And Facebook. Yeah, I just keep throwing that one in there. Someone's going to make a Pinterest for us eventually. And Facebook to keep tabs on the movie.
Yeah. So that's what we got for you folks. Zach actually just did our social networking thing right now.
We really should do that at the beginning. We gotta do that at the beginning because people tune out by this point as we start trailing on about John Krasinski. We gotta start doing that at the beginning.
Like get him right there. Hold them hostage.
Right in the beginning, right in the middle, right and at the end.
Statistically, people have a worse reaction to that than they do when someone brings around an offering tray at church. I just want you to know that. Like people, the first thing out of your mouth is like and subscribe, and they're like,
all right, gotta go.
But at any rate, share this video, like and subscribe. Thank you to the original 62. We're creeping up there. We set a goal for 100. What do we get with 100 subscribers, Zach? What happened?
We get to change the link to our channel. We get
we get a gold plaque. That's right.
Whoa, that's right. Steve's gonna hang it right there. Steve's gonna hang it over there. Do we get if we get 100,000 subscribers, we're really gonna think about this, and we get one of the plaques, right?
2. You can request 2 if
you can request 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I want one for my own.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point we're gonna have a studio though.
Yeah. It's gonna come home with me on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can have it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay, I like that. All right, we're trailing on now here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Hit up the social medias, get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you, and have a good day.